What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you everything you need to know to be likable, persuasive, and make the perfect first impression. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, I'm sure you've all met that person that from the second that you meet them, you say, wow, I don't know why, but I really like this guy. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about him that makes him different. And in this video, my goal is to help you to become that guy. Now, I know that sounds arrogant, but here's the deal. Over the course of the last 10 years, I've had the opportunity of training literally thousands of sales reps, and not just any sales reps, but door-to-door sales reps. So they literally have 5 to 10 seconds to make a killer first impression. And then from there, not blow that first impression and win someone over to not only listening to them, but handing them their credit card in the span of 5 to 10 minutes. And so I've had the opportunity to do this myself for years, put it to practice, really be part of a social experiment where I get to interact with hundreds of different people every day. And then I've transitioned from that into training thousands of sales reps. And so what I'm getting at is I've gotten to do this a lot, and there are lots of tips and tricks that I'm gonna share with you in this video that I promise you will completely change your ability to make a great first impression and get people to like you. And not only get them to like you, but also it's gonna teach you how to be substantially more persuasive so that they like you, and then they also are willing to listen to you and even change their opinions based on the things that you say. Now, if you're not convinced and you want to know more about my background, you can click this video and go check out some of the videos of me training door-to-door sales reps or see my actual interactions on the doors. But if I've got you convinced, I want to just jump right into it. The only thing that I ask you to do is remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And we're going to show you everything you need to know to make an incredible first impression. All right, let's jump into it. Now, the first one that you need to know is smile. Now, I know this sounds basic, but here's the deal. Every time you're speaking with someone, you should be making incredible eye contact. And when you talk with them, you should use indicators to break eye contact and then make eye contact again. All right, what this is going to help you do is it's going to help you to not look down and look sketchy or look uncomfortable, because a lot of times we know we need to keep eye contact, but we can't keep eye contact forever, because if you just stare them down, they're going to get feeling uncomfortable. I know I said originally you need to smile, but the reason I'm talking about eye contact is important for a couple different reasons. First off, it's important because people feel comfortable when you make eye contact. They feel uncomfortable if you make too much eye contact. So you need to have planned breaks where maybe you're talking to your hand, or you're pointing at something, or you're showing them something, or you just naturally go like this when you're making a point so that it seems planned rather than looking down or looking up or looking to the side. Alternatively, if you stare them down, again, that's not going to be comfortable. But here is why I said smile first. Smile is probably the most important thing that you can do. And the reason you need an eye contact break is every time that you break eye contact, when you make that eye contact again, they should make you light up. Now, I'm going to show you an example. When I look over here and then I look back at the camera, it's like you give me this burst of enthusiasm, which makes me smile, which in turn is going to make you smile. And I know this seems simple, but if you do that with every one of your eye contact breaks, people won't know why, but they'll be saying, man, I really like this guy. And it's because, one, you look happy and upbeat, but you smiling after that eye contact break is going to force them to smile. And every time people smile, it releases endorphins, and they're going to say, wow, I feel good, and it must be because I'm talking to this guy. The other thing that works the same way after an eye contact break is anytime you're wanting someone to agree with you, giving them a little jab and waiting for their response. Now, a lot of times you'll talk with someone and you'll realize they're talking a lot, but it still feels conversational. You really enjoy listening to them. Now, I'm not saying you should talk a lot. As a matter of fact, it's best when you're having an interaction that's comfortable to ask lots of questions. But if you're in a job interview or you're cold calling or you're just meeting someone and you only have a couple seconds, you actually want to try and keep control of the conversation while also making it conversational. And the way that you do that is after these eye contact breaks or even during eye contact. When you say something, you're going to give them a big head nod followed by a little head nod and get them to agree with you. This is going to make it conversational because you're communicating back and forth even though you're talking. The next thing that you need to do is slow down. Now, on YouTube, I get a lot of flack from people because they'll say, Chandler, you're talking too slow. Well, here's the deal. If you think I'm talking too slow on YouTube, you can click the cool little button up here and you can speed up my voice. You can make it go 2 times as fast if you want to. When you're talking to people, you will be naturally drawn to those who are not fast talkers. As a matter of fact, you'll come to find that the slower you talk, the easier it is to grab the attention of a larger group. And you should go and try this. When you're in a group and you're trying to grab everyone's attention because you want to say something and everyone's competing to try and say something, if you go in and you're talking slow and confidently, everyone else will go quiet and listen to you. Alternatively, if you come in and you're trying to talk fast and trying to cut in and cut off, it's going to be really hard for people to want to listen to you. And when they're talking to you, if you're talking really, really fast, you're going to lose their interest. And the reason for this is when you slow down, you can make things substantially more conversational because you're going to be able to get good eye contacts, you're going to be able to get good smiles, you're going to be able to get good head nods. But on top of that, you can be persuasive. This is a very broad term, but I'm going to explain what being persuasive means. And it isn't just there to talk someone in to thinking the way that you think. As a matter of fact, it's also there to be engaging. Someone that's persuasive, it's because they're engaging. And when you're persuasive or engaging, what you do is you vary the tone and speed of your voice. First off, your tone, you need to end in a down pitch. When you listen to someone that's uncomfortable and they're in a setting where they don't have a lot of confidence, you'll notice that every one of their sentences ends in a little bit of an up pitch. And so it sounds like a rhythm and it makes them sound like they're really lacking confidence. I did it there for just a second so you can hear what I'm talking about. Now, if you listen to someone that's confident, every time they talk, it's going to end in a down pitch because they sound extremely confident. Now, that's just one thing you need to do with your pitch. On top of going slower, you need to do something called maximizing or minimizing. And what it is when you're really trying to make something sound big, you drag it out. You might even whisper to pull them in. And when you're trying to make something sound small, you just shrug it off and you make it brief and you might even speed up a little bit. When you're really trying to prove a point, you're going to make your voice a little bit more harsh. You're going to make it deep and strong and firm. And having this variation where you're bouncing around from whispering to dragging things out to speeding up, all while going substantially slower than the average person, it's going to make you very engaging to listen to. And this is going to make you not only engaging, but it's also going to help you to be extremely persuasive because whatever you're saying, people are listening. And while they're listening, they're being persuaded because you're dragging things out. You're making them seem big or small, and you're pulling them in with that variation of whispering or bringing up your voice as you go through the conversation. Now, all of these things seem simple, and I've been very brief in my explanation of them, but sit back and think about the way you communicate with people because all of these things are key, and they're not key once, they're key throughout the entire conversation. Now, the things that I've mentioned are extremely important for making a good first impression. The next thing you need to do is make sure that you're not faced off with someone. You need to make sure that you go and you get side by side. So when you're introducing yourself, you still might be across from them, but you might turn your body a little bit. And so that you're not speaking directly into their face. And as you begin to communicate, you might shuffle a little bit so that you're side by side. Now, you want to be very careful that you don't intrude on their personal space. I've seen so many people that they'll come and they'll intrude on someone's bubble and it makes them very uncomfortable and it makes you not very likable. This is one of the biggest reasons that you want to pivot so that you can get side by side with them. You're not intruding on their space and it feels like you've got even more distance because you're talking out while they're talking out. Now, you can still have eye contact when you're sideways, but then it makes eye contact breaks very easy so you can go back and get those smiles and head nods. This is going to make it so they're not smelling your breath and it feels like they've got a lot of space in their bubble, yet you're still on the same team, you're close, you're comfortable, and it makes it very easy to communicate. Now here's the deal. Up to this point, I've given you lots of tips that are great for giving a sales pitch, for making a first introduction, for meeting your father-in-law, meeting someone that you're going in for a job interview, all of those things. But if you want to truly be likable, it has to transition where the conversation goes back and forth. So these skills are going to be great when doing a sales pitch. And if you want to control the conversation, you want to make sure you do these things and you keep control of the conversation. However, if you control the conversation too long, even in a sales pitch or with your father-in-law or that job interview or whatever else it may be, you're going to start to dominate it and people don't like that. And so now we're going to transition into when you're trying to build that relationship. And this is where things are a lot different because you want to do some other things that if you're knocking on a door and trying to get a sales pitch out to hit a hot button or grab their attention, you're not going to ask open-ended questions because odds are you're going to get shut down and sent to the next door. However, if you're building a relationship, these next things are really going to help you. First off, call them by name. Get their name and remember their name and use it frequently throughout your conversation. The next one, make sure that you ask good questions. And then once you've asked the question, make sure that you're keeping good eye contact and listening and bobbing your head and agreeing with them. And even ask follow-up questions based on what they said so that they know that you're listening. Again, make sure that you slow things way down and focus on making it back and forth so that you're not dominating the conversation, you're asking good questions, and you're focusing on them. The more that people think that you care, which hopefully you do care, the better they're going to feel. And that's all that people care about in this interaction is you making them feel good. Now, I could go on for hours about all of the different tips or tricks, but these are the ones that are going to help you the most. And they're going to help you with trying to land that next big date, with the job interview, with the sales pitch, with whatever you're doing. And so put them to work. I promise they work extremely well. And here's the deal. After training thousands of sales reps, I've come to find that they love these tactics and they recognize they work, but when it's time to put them to work, they struggle. They might smile, they might head nod, they might think that they're going slow, when in reality, they're still talking really fast. They're only smiling a little bit and they're very rarely getting head nods. And when they get uncomfortable, they're up pitching in a big way. And then because they're nervous, they control the conversation, they dominate it, and they sound like a little bit of a fool. They fumble all over themselves. And so I'm begging you, write these things down and practice them on a consistent basis. If you're practicing them daily and then you're putting them to work and you're constantly looking how other people are responding, you're going to get better and better at making a great first impression. Now, there are 100 other things you can do to improve the first impression that you make and your sales ability when it comes to being persuasive. However, we do not have time for them in this video. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell, and let me know in the comments. On my channel, I usually focus on helping you learn how to invest in real estate, and that is the majority of my focus. I'll also kind of veer into finance and other things along those lines. But if you enjoy this sales training, make sure that you let me know in the comments and let me know if you'd like me to release more videos that go more in depth on how you can make an incredible first impression. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great day.